let's get straight down to business. We're going to be looking at this flyer that I have already done. So what I thought would be easier maybe would be to go through it layer by layer. So we'll still be doing it right from the beginning, and hopefully it will make it easier. The good thing about this tutorial is that there isn't much to download, so we'll be working solely from Photoshop. We will be using the 3D tool, so if that doesn't work, then I guess you haven't got a graphics card, but if you're designing, then I suggest you get a graphic card immediately. So let's get started. We'll take away all these layers and start from the beginning. The font, the text where it says Candy, will probably be the hardest part, but I'll do it in such a way that it will give you the tools that you'll need to be able to do one yourself, but you should be able to manipulate it and work at it so that you've got it down packed. But I'll make it short enough but detailed enough for the sake of tutorial and YouTube minutes to get you a full understanding. And we will be doing these bubbles as well. It's a lot easier than it looks actually. Yeah, let's start right from scratch. So we start on a black background, create a new layer above that, and what we're simply going to be doing is putting a big fat dot, smooth, sort of dead, kind of in the middle, but to the right hand side. When I did this, I stupidly enough made it yellow, so I simply I went over to blending options, and I changed it into a nice blue. Sorry, excuse me. Make sure that you make it nice and fat as well. So down there at the highest point, but maybe a little bit just before the highest point. But even if you don't choose the right sort of setting, you could always transform it so that it's bigger. But anyway, just a nice big brush and make it blue. We're looking for our ice blue, and like I said, I went to blending options. And I went to color overlay, and I chose this blue. But you don't have to do all of that. Just choose a blue when you're putting the original dot down. Just make it easy for yourself. I'm going the long way round, so don't pay any mind to me. Right, so create a layer above that. What I did, I put this I think it was called Rising Sun brush set. But after I did it, I didn't like it, so I took it off. But you can put it, you can not put it. So forget that. Create another layer, and we're going to be doing these bubbles. They're a lot easier than it looks. So I'll tell you what, we'll do one from scratch. I did put one in my other tutorial, but you know, we'll do it from scratch. So create a new layer. Go over to your brush on your left hand side and choose the a solid dot, and we want it sort of a small to medium size. Well, small size, not a pin dot, but small size. Go over to your brush tool set, go over to your shape dynamics, and change that jitter right up to 100%. Go one below that to scattering, and take your scattering to 1000%, and then go to your transfer and put your opacity jitter up to 100%, and take off smoothing as well, which sometimes comes in, and just hold down your brush, and as you can see, you get this nice bubble effect going on here. And this is a go-to move, so remember this and use it, because you use that a lot in design. So anyway, create a new layer above that. Select a nice, you know, high big brush, smooth brush, and we're just going to be doing nice colorful dots over that. So your purples and your reds, yellows, pinks, whatever, just randomly. Yeah, that looks good. Now press with that layer still selected, if you press Ctrl and click on the layer below that, then press Ctrl and Alt at the same time, holding them down, then click dead in the middle of those two layers, right click and merge those two layers together. Then we're going to right click again, go to blending options, then go to your bevel, and then we're just going to play around with the gloss control, I could be saying that wrong, section, until you get the right sort of look. And we want a sort of watery, bubbly, glassy type effect. So just play around with the presets for this. No need to create one. you'll find one that will work. Yeah, I mean, that looks good. That will work. And then just hit OK. And bang, you got your bubble effect. Also, what I did is I right click, I duplicated that as well. Oh, what did I just do with that? Sorry, I'm just looking through my other layers to see, so I'm not confusing myself. Yeah, what I did, I right clicked on those bubbles, I duplicated that, I transformed it till it was big, moved it to the right, and brought down the opacity just to create a bubble sort of on the full page, but just light in the background, because that's what flyer design is all about. It's just about putting sort of light things here and there. Anyway, let's move on. This is my model. I'm not going to go into background deletion. There's thousands of taken away background tutorials on YouTube, so just find a good model. I think that her name is Delicia. I can't remember her last name, but she's got loads of pictures online. And yeah, nice sultry model you want for this type of look that we're going for. Nothing too smiley, and I didn't go for anyone looking dead on camera either. Yep, so that's with the bubbles and that's with our model. Take that away. We'll come back to all of that, but what I like to do is do things one at a time. And now we're going to do our text, this candy text. It might look a little bit complicated, but it's actually a lot easier than it looks. Like I said, I'll give you the tools to be able to do this yourself. Yeah, let's just get started and see how we get on. So create a new layer. Go to your text tool on your left hand side. For this tutorial I'm going to use white, but as you can see I did this in pink, so you might want to choose a light pink for this. The font that I used was called iLevation Pro. I downloaded it from thefont.com. iLevation Pro. Wait, that looks a bit thick actually. That looks too thick. I'm just going to go over to my yeah, it's not supposed to be that thick. I'm going to highlight this and go to the right hand side to my font text and take away, yeah, I took away the bold, that's all I did. I had it on bold, that's all. So nice and big, dead in the middle of your page. Yeah, I think that will do. Right click, and we're going to rasterize that, because you can't edit any font without rasterizing it first. We're going to Cntrl select. Oh, sorry. Right click and duplicate that first, and then take the eye off your original one and work from the duplication. Cntrl select, then go over to 3D, Repuse, and current selection. My computer takes forever and a day because I've got way too much on my computer, so if I would actually advise you to get a laptop. Anyway, go to continue. Yeah, get a laptop solely dedicated to design. I know I'm ridiculous telling you this, I'm pretty late. And again, we're just going to use presets here. Best thing to do. Let me just move that out of the way so you can see it. And we're going to use the one that's was 6-1 down in the right hand corner. And automatically that sort of inflates the front, so you can see it's got a little bubble effect going on. I use this quite a bit as well. And then if you go over to your depth and just bring that up a little bit, so whatever suits you on the eye, and as you can see, it brings the depth of the back behind. You've got your front elevated, and that is pretty much it. You can play around with some of the settings on your front bevel. There is things that you can do, but for this tutorial and for this flyer, that is pretty much the base of the text done already. What you can also do as well, again, this is just tips to help you out, so that when you're playing around with it, you'll be able to come out with something fantastic, I'm sure. But if you go to your 3D toolbar, and as you can see, you've got your front material here and your your back and your bevel and all of that. You could play around with all these settings. You could play around with your shines and your gloss. You could even change the color of your extrusion here. So like I said at the beginning when we was first doing the font, I said to change it to pink. You could actually change that here. You can do that all here. So we're just going to right click on that and rasterize that anyway, because that's done. Create a new layer above that. Go over to your brush set on the left hand side, and you could just do little brushes over it. You don't have to use this, by the way. This is purely just giving you some idea of text for flyers. So you can do nice brushes like this. Go to your blending options, change that to overlay. I'm not going to do it now, but obviously you would have to delete the stuff that's coming out of the white candy, and you've got yourself a nice little red, pinky, shiny effect on your text already. Let me get rid of that for now. I'm just going to delete that because I'm not going to use that. You could also duplicate that candy layer. This is another way around it. Go to blending options, change your color overlay to let's just go with pink. Press OK, and then again change your blending layer to overlay, and you've got this little pink effect which works as well. All of these effects are great for flyer design, and all of them look just as good when they're printed as well. So I'll leave you to play around with that. I've already done the one that I've done, so that's more or less done. But that should hopefully give you enough to come up with a flyer, a good flyer design. Oh yeah, of course, the layer that we hid away. If you open up the layer that we hid away, I'll show you why I duplicated that layer and done another layer. If you just put that dead behind the candy that we just done, go to right click blending options and then put a stroke on that layer. We'll change this to a color so that you can see it better. Like already you can see it's very subtle, but it gives that nice little sort of stroke around the text that we've done. You could even play around with where you decide to put it, but all of these are little things that make people's text on their flyer different to yours. It's these little tricks and techniques that people use to make their flyer design good. I'm just gonna delete everything I just done and work from what I did. Oh sorry, yeah, I did actually change the I made the CAN and the DY slightly different. In fact, I'll tell you how I did that actually. Let's not do things halfway. Let's not do things halfway. I'm going to get rid of that pink stroke layer. We don't need that. So just working on your 3D text. We'll get rid of everything else that we don't need. If you go to your marquee tool, your rectangle tool on the left hand side, and we're going to select the CAN. I'm going to cut that, just edit, cut, create a new layer and just edit and paste. I've created 2 separate layers now, and all I did was hit Cntrl T and resize the CAN. Not too much, not too out there. Hit apply. I'm going to move that layer below the DY layer, and as you can see, it's just a little effect. It's nothing major, it's nothing too incredible. It's just different. So if you select both of those layers and then press Cntrl T, we can just move that, angled it, hit apply, and voila, candy. Hopefully that's enough for you to work with. I'm going to delete that and work with what I've already done. If you've got any questions, leave a comment below, and I'll talk you through it. But hopefully that should be enough to do your own thing. So let's open up the layers that we've done. We've got the model, we've got our bubbles, and now we're going to work off our stadium lights. In fact, this will be something that you need to download if you haven't downloaded it already from the tutorial. These are my go-to lights, as I've said before. This is my trade secret, so you're going to have to hit pause and go to Google and download stadium lights. They're everywhere. loads of free ones. I think this is going to be the only thing that you'll need to download in terms of background wise if you haven't already. And as I've said before, create a folder which I've called backgrounds, but you can call it stock images or whatever. I've also got a models folder, and build up your collection, build up your background collection, build up your stock images, your models, build it up, build it up, build it up, build it up. These are my go-to lights. I'm giving you the fine as design top secrets here. Jesus, sorry about this. I just need to find them. Here we go, stadium lights. In fact, while this is going on, you could be downloading this. It's so damn slow. So anyway, I was going to shave off the bottom of the, double click on background to turn it into a layer. Then take my eraser tool. I'm just going to shave off the bottom of the lights of the areas that I don't need. Real quick, really rough. Hit Cntrl A to select all. Cntrl C to copy. So Cntrl A to select all, Cntrl C to copy, and then Cntrl V to paste. If your shortcuts don't work, just go to your edit. Then Cntrl T, I'm going to resize that till it's massive and fat. Hit apply. Go to my overlay and go to linear dodge, and voila, as you can see, we got this beautiful effect going on. So we're just going to place it just over the model, so it kind of goes between the model and our text. Get my eraser tool, soft edge. Turn my opacity down a little bit and just brush over the areas that I don't want to be seen. To be honest, you should be using a layer mask for this, but for the sake of tutorial, we'll just use the eraser tool. And bam, look at that. It looks beautiful. And look how quick and easy that was. That wasn't hard. Also, what I did as well, I right click and duplicated that layer. And I press Cntrl T to transform and move the angle and just put it on the top right and put another one on the top right hand corner so it's kind of shining down on the CAN. Little tricks is so easy, so easy, but it's these little tricks that make all the difference. So let's move on. Go to your rectangle tool, create a black rectangle like this and change your opacity down. We're going to make our flyer design pretty different to what we're usually seeing, and then just add your text. Saturday 14th of September, whatever. This is your flyer, so just add your text in. This is a little bit different to what other flyers you'll see, but as you can see, it's more or less using the same techniques that we did for Good Girls vs Bad Girls, but creating a completely different flyer. After this flyer tutorial, I expect you guys to be professionals, man. And yeah, add all my text in, and as you can see, bam, we got our flyer design just like that. As you can see, I've got that rising sun in the background, but you might like it. I didn't like it, so I kept it out, man. I felt like it was a little bit too much. I've talked about design saturation before, and I felt like it was just going a little bit overboard. Flyers are all about control chaos, and I didn't feel like it needed to be there. So let's talk you through the text. Well, I'll let you know some of the text that I use. So to do the Saturday 14th of September, I used Gala Condensed, which I actually had to pay for because I couldn't find it in thefont.com, so I paid for that. What else did I use? For Sweet Like, I used a text called Scriptina, which is a go-to text. You see this text a lot, actually, Scriptina. And for Black, I use a text called Gling. So yeah, so we got Gling, we got Scriptina, we got Gala Condensed. Oh, and I also put some soft brushes over the model as well, just to complete it, just to finish it off. And again, that was using the text that we used for the bubbles earlier. So you take your brush, you go to your shape dynamics, you go to your scattering, and you go to your transfer, and just run wild with your brushes. You know, I changed the color to white. What was it? I moved the brush quite small. I just run wild, as you can see here. Look, you can go for days, go for days, go for days. Obviously, I'm not using that. I'm going to undo that, but just so you can see. And that's it. That's our flyer design done. I hope I've given you enough, but if not, leave your comments. But this is YouTube, so pause it, go back to it, pause it, go back to it, pause it, go back to it. Catch you next time. Subscribe.